The Jaguar E-Type, a legend in motion, 1961 to 1975. The Jaguar E-Type, 1961 to 1975, stands before us as the living embodiment of elegance and power, a machine that doesn't merely drive, but soars over the asphalt like a predatory, graceful cat in mid-leap. This British legend was born in the whirlwind of post-war revival, a time when the world craved beauty and speed. It became the ultimate symbol of a golden era, from the dusty tracks of Le Mans to the glamorous streets of London and the rock stages of the 60s. Imagine a long, streamlined hood stretching forward like an arrow, slender twin headlights flickering mysteriously in the twilight, and body lines that seem drawn by the hand of a Renaissance master. Even Enzo Ferrari, the king of supercars, famously sighed, "The most beautiful car ever made." This monolithic history will reveal every layer of its saga, from its origins in racing laboratories to its cult status in pop culture, diving deep into its design, mechanics, production dramas, and eternal legacy. We will walk through the labyrinths of the Coventry factories, feel the roar of the inline-six engines, and relive the highs and lows of Jaguar, to understand why the E-Type still makes hearts race and collectors part with fortunes. 1. Deep Roots: the heritage of Jaguar and the birth of Project E. The story of the Jaguar E-Type is rooted in the bold post-war experiments of Sir William Lyons, the company's founder, nicknamed the Lion for his sharp wit and tenacity. In the 1940s, as Britain healed its wartime wounds, Jaguar rose like a phoenix. The XK120, 1948, became the world's first production car with an aluminum engine and a top speed exceeding 120 miles per hour. Its sleek silhouette foreshadowed the era of GT cars. But the real breakthrough happened on the track. The D-Type, 1954 to 1957, featuring a revolutionary aluminum monocoque chassis, Dunlop disc brakes, and independent front suspension, dominated the 24 hours of Le Mans, securing 3 consecutive victories, 1955 to 1957. While pilots like Mike Hawthorne and Phil Hill were making history, Jaguar's engineers realized it was time to bring the track to the everyday road. By the late 1950s, the market demanded evolution. Eddie Nagy, the chassis genius behind the D-Type, and young designer Jeffrey Abbott sketched the E1A prototype, 1960. It wasn't just a sketch. It was a machine with a long wheelbase, a low stance, and bubble lamps inspired by the winds of Le Mans. Initially, a V12 was planned, but economics dictated a compromise: the proven XK inline-six. Production launched at the legendary Browns Lane plant in Coventry, the heart of the British auto industry. The Geneva Motor Show on March 15, 1961, was a triumph. The Jaguar stand was swamped by crowds, and 500 orders were placed in a single day. At a price of just over £2,000, it seemed like a dream compared to an Aston Martin DB4 or a Ferrari 250 GT. It wasn't just a car. It was a manifesto of freedom, blooming under the rays of the Beatles' sun. 2. The evolution of series, from pure Series 1 to the V12 era. The Jaguar E-Type evolved over 15 years, producing 72,000 units across 3 distinct series. Series 1, 1961-1968, the most coveted era. It was the peak of aesthetics, featuring a steel monocoque with an aluminum hood and doors. The glass-covered headlights and the mouth grille became iconic. It was available as a fixed-head coupe, FHC, an open 2-seater, OTS, roadster, and, from 1966, a 2+2 with an extended wheelbase for families. Series 2, 1968 to 1971, modified to meet U.S. regulations. The bumpers grew, the headlights lost their glass covers for better visibility, and the interior became more comfortable with features like air conditioning and power steering. Series 3, 1971 to 1975. The era of the V12. The 5.3-liter engine roared like a jazz orchestra. While it gained weight and muscle, it became the ultimate highway cruiser, though environmental regulations began to clip its wings. 3. Heart and soul. Technical masterpieces. The true charm of the E-Type lies in its mechanical symphony. The XK inline-6 engine is a legend. A cast-iron block with an aluminum head and twin overhead camshafts, DOHC. Early 3.8-liter versions delivered raw power through triple SU carburetors, purring at low revs but exploding at the top end. The chassis featured a monocoque front subframe and independent suspension, providing handling that was years ahead of its time. Dunlop disc brakes provided incredible stopping power, while the interior breathed luxury. Connolly leather, Smith's gauges, and a wood-rimmed steering wheel that offered a direct connection to the road. Despite its brilliance, it wasn't perfect. Sills could rust, and the Lucas electrics were notoriously temperamental. But its soul outweighed its flaws. 4. Thunder of the track. Racing glory. The E-Type was born for battle. In 1961, Graham Hill and Roy Salvadori took the E-Type to immediate victory in GT classes. The legendary lightweight E-Type, only 12 were built between 1963 to 1964, featured an all-aluminum body and a fuel-injected engine, tearing up tracks like Silverstone and Brands Hatch. Even after factory support waned, the E-Type remained the king of club racing, a status it holds to this day in vintage events like the Goodwood Revival. 5. Cultural hurricane. Rock stars and icons. The E-Type transcended the garage to become a celebrity icon. Steve McQueen raced one, George Harrison gifted one to Paul McCartney, and members of the Rolling Stones collected them. It has graced the silver screen in everything from the Thomas Crown Affair to Austin Powers. For the baby boomer generation, the E-Type remains the ultimate symbol of youth, romance, and freedom under a rainy British sky. 6. Shadows of production and the market. At its peak, Browns Lane hummed, producing 1,500 cars a month. However, the 1970s brought challenges. The V12 was prone to overheating, and the rise of Japanese competitors like the Datsun 240Z signaled a shift in the market. By 1975, the E-Type era ended, pressured by new emission standards and a changing world. 7. Today's triumph. Immortality. Today, the E-Type is a blue-chip collectible. Series 1 Roadsters can fetch between $200,000 and $500,000, with rare prototypes breaking the $1 million mark at RM Sotheby's auctions. Companies like Eagle in Britain build modernized versions for $500,000, and electric conversions are even whispering a silent future for the Cat. With over 10,000 members in the Jaguar E-Type Club, the legend is not just preserved, it is alive, reminding us of a time when a car was not just transport, but a work of art.